In this video, we'll talk about CSS in Lightning Web Component. So there are different ways to apply CSS in Lightning Web Component. The first one is the inline styling, then second one is external CSS, then we can go through with the Lightning design system. After that we can use the Lightning design system design token. We can apply the CSS using shared CSS file. We can apply CSS dynamically. We can use third-party CSS library like Bootstrap, Animate CSS, or we can apply CSS across Shadow DOM using some JavaScript. So there are different ways. We'll cover each of them in the future videos. So in this video, we're gonna cover about inline styling and external CSS. So let's go to our VS Code. Let's create a component. Let's create a component. Name is CSS in LWC. So now our component is ready, and now first we're gonna create a lightning card here. So lightning card, I'll say title inline styling. Then we're gonna create a div. We'll say class SLDS margin around medium. If you don't know about these classes, we'll cover these classes more in the Lightning design system library when we talk about SLDS library. I have created a card. I have given a title. I'm applying this class SLDS margin around medium, and I'll create a div. Hello, I am a div tag, and in the meta file, let's add the configuration, and our configuration will be is exposed to true, and the targets will be app page. So let's deploy this to our app. So it's deployed. Let's go to my org. I'm in a styling in LWC Lightning page. Click on the gear icon, edit the page. Till now we haven't wrote any line or anything regarding the CSS. We have just created the component and just we are placing that component into the Lightning page. So I'll select CSS in LWC and place it to the left hand side of the page. Let's hit save and hit back. So the card heading is inline styling and div tag is printing. So let's see what is inline style. So when we create a style or we apply a style to an element with the style attribute, that is called inline style. We'll not create a separate CSS file. We'll just write the styling in the div tag itself, that is inline styling. And it's not recommended way because it's not readable. It's not like you can't maintain it properly. If tomorrow if you have to change something, you have to go into each element as to change it there. So it's not a preferable way, but that's the easiest way to write the CSS without creating a separate file. And this type of style has the highest priority over any other styling. So let's apply some CSS style. You need to use the style tag for inline styling, then equal to, then quotes, and start writing your style. I'll say to this div apply a color red. Then I want the font size to be of 20 pixel, and that's it. So let's deploy this and see our inline styling is working or not. And let's go back, refresh the page, and now you can see that the red color and font size has been applied here to our div tag. So this is how we use inline styling. It's not a recommended way, but everybody should know if somebody talks about inline styling. So this is the inline styling when we apply our style in the tags itself. So let's understand the second type, that is the external CSS and most commonly used. So I just copy paste the card again. I'll remove everything from inside this. So there is only card with the div now. And now I'll say a p tag a and a p tag, and we can create another div below it. We'll say a name 0 to hero. Okay, so we have two elements inside this div tag. We want to apply some style to these elements. So what we can do for external styling, you have to create a CSS file, and in LWC your CSS file name should be exact as your component name. So let's create CSS in LWC .css. .css is the extension that tells the component this is a style sheet, and the same name tells this is the style sheet of this particular component. Now we have a style sheet. In LWC we can apply a style to an element, that is like h1, div tag, p tag, span. These all are element. Okay, then we can apply it to classes. Classes is a tag like attribute that we applied here, so we can define the classes, and to define, use, or apply a style to a classes, we have to call the class with the dot notation. So if I have a class here in the div tag, I'll say class user, and if I have to apply some style to this tag, I can use dot user and I can apply my style here. And the third is the pseudo classes. Pseudo classes are always followed by colon, like colon hover. On hover of this, apply this particular class. So there are three ways. We always avoid ID here in this Lightning Web Component styling. We never recommend, or even Salesforce not recommend you to apply style using ID. Salesforce recommend you to apply the style using element, using your classes and your pseudo classes basically. So these are the three ways to apply the styling here. So let's apply the style one by one. So we are looking into the external CSS. We already created the external CSS. So first I want to apply on a p element. I'll say color green, font size 30 pixel, then border 1 pixel solid red. So I'm applying some style to p tag. I have to just call the tag name, and in the curly bracket in the object format, key and value, an object you already know, followed by, like, in between there should be a colon, there should be a key and a value, but here the only difference is your each property should be end with a semicolon, not with a comma. And then I can apply some class, a CSS to the class user. So I'll say to user class. So if I'm calling a class, I need to use a dot notation. I'll say color pink and font size 20 pixel. And we already seen the element, we have already seen the classes. Let's apply some pseudo class. So I'll say whenever a user, or whenever we hover over the this particular div that has a class user, then do something. So we'll say whenever on a user class there is a hover, change font size to 50 pixel and change color to red. So this is how we apply the different types of styling to our these two elements. So for first we apply for p tag, then we apply for the class user, and then we use the user with the hover. So let's deploy this and see how this card looks like. So now it's deployed. Let's go and refresh the page. And now you can see that the p tag is color green, border red, font pixel is there, and now we have pink color to the div with the class user, and as I hover over it, its color changed to red and the size become 50 pixels. See, as I go back, it backs to normal. If I come here, So this is because of pseudo class, hover property, then the class and the p tag. So now we able to apply the style, and these sort of style in which we write our style sheet in a separate file, we call it as external styling. These sort of style are easy to maintain. So tomorrow if you have to change something, you come directly here. With the inline, the only problem is you have to go and find where all the style tag is there, and you have to update it separately. You can't reuse the style in this way. But if I have another element and I want to apply the same class, same styling, I can use the class and I can reuse that styling. So that's the benefit of external CSS. So yeah, that's it for this video. I'll see you in the next video.